Hey interwebs, welcome to Hammered Steel, and I'm Mark, aka The Hammer. Hi, I'm Daisy. Dad said don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and comment. Thanks. See you later. Hi, welcome to more video editing shenanigans. Leave me comments on how you think I'm doing with my video editing, what you think I could improve. Suggestions are always welcome. Today I'm making a tool rest, the original that came with my Wilmot grinder, hashtag not sponsored, was 4x10 and I wanted a bigger one. So I bought a 6x48 piece of bar, 3/8 thick, which is the same as the original tool rest. I'm going to make this one 16 inches, and so just doing the measuring out of it, I'm going to try to use the original little triangle piece that you saw there, and there's a rod that comes up and connects to that. Hopefully that rod and that small triangle piece are enough to support the bigger tool rest plate. We'll have to see, but that's my intent for right now. I'm planning to make one roughly 24 inches with a cutout in it so that I can run the 2x72 in a horizontal position, and then I can use the two guide wheels either with or without the platen to get various radii. So I'll be making another video on that, and hopefully same thing, that bar will be enough to support it. Came to realize that my chop saw wouldn't really cut through the 6-inch of that plate, and I didn't want to lay it flat to cut through that and take a chance on dulling the blade, so here I am using my angle grinder.
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want. I'm inspired by thirst, I'm inspired by worth. I desire your worst, so you can just hide while I work. I ain't tired, you first. I'll write a second, third verse about the lies you go disperse. You never did I know it hurts. But something deep inside won't let me quit. I swear that I'm inspired by all this shit. Tell me that I can and I won't. That's what guides me the most. Your lies, I'll do what I want.
And a little bit of wiggling and success. So here I'm just using the 2x72 to square everything up, and nasty cut line using a disc grinder. I guess that's a skill I'll have to evolve on. gonna end up squaring everything up, getting rid of the mill scale. Here I'm just doing things on an angle, creating some slightly rounded edges on what'll be the top of that surface plate, just so there's nothing sharp, no chances of getting cut or nicked. Measuring out to try and find the center of that plate using the good old Dykem so that I can scribe lines and hole punch it. So here I'm taking off the original plate so that I can get that small triangle piece to help try and figure out the distances that I need so that I can drill it out and it'll all match up. So I figured out the middle of the plate and I put that piece down and traced around it. Now I'm trying to figure out how far apart to make the holes. Using a good old center punch, create a divot for the drill bit to go in, and later on I figure out that my measurement or my hole punches were just a tad too far apart, so I had to go and remount one of the holes so that they would line up. Using a spotting drill to get the two holes started. A little bit of drill and tapping oil to get things going. I just have a cheap bench drill press, nothing spectacular, but for now it does the trick. Better than trying to use a regular handheld drill. At least I know the hole is straight, square. There's such a thing as a square hole? Yeah, I show my errors. Not having the chuck tight enough around the drill bit got stuck Oh well. More tap fluid, hoping that it goes a little smoother. Then I bought a countersink, and I don't know if I bought a bad countersink. It's a Irwin product, but there was a lot of chatter, and the countersink portion of that hole isn't smooth. You can see it's kind of like ribbed. So I don't know. I was using the slowest speed on the drill press. I figured if that's what you're using with your drill bit, the countersink should work too. But I don't know. I got a lot of chatter. And with the second hole, I went to a slightly faster speed, and that didn't really seem to make any difference at all. I got the same kind of chatter and the same kind of like bumpiness inside of that countersunk hole. Periodically blowing out all of the tiny chips with my airline, and then putting the screw in to make sure that it ends up being flush with the plate. And yes, when you see my hand that close to the drill bit, it is turned off. Safety first. I don't know, I thought maybe trying some more cutting oil might help with all of that chatter, but it didn't. I don't know if you got any suggestions on what I was doing wrong. Let me know. Okay, so I'm mounting it back on to the 2x72 because I want to cut a slot in it that's about 1/8 of an inch wider than the platen on both sides, and I'm gonna go in about 1/2 an inch so I can butt the plate up, and if I'm using the edge of the platen by moving the belt to the edge, I can do a little bit of a radius if I so desire. Okay, so I have a portable bandsaw and I have purchased the swag table for that. So there's not always a lot of room for a bigger piece of plate like this. So no making fun of my bandsaw cutting techniques. Eventually I was able to get a big enough access area that I could cut along the whole length of what I needed. So I'm using the 2x72 to make that insert as flat and as straight as I can, going back and forth, smoothing it out. Big mistake here, I reattached that plate to use the grinder to get everything going, and then I realized that I can't move it side to side, so I ended up making a groove, having to take it apart, put the original back on, and then that way I could slide my new plate back and forth to get it flush. Live and learn. Yeah, here we go, putting a 45-degree angle on that so that if I want to set the plate to be on an angle, that I can still keep it nice and close to the belt itself. Putting the original plate back on, getting it pretty square using the 1, 2, 3 block to the platen, because it's much easier to adjust and move it with a smaller piece of plate on there than with that huge one. Getting the plate on final assembly, everything ended up looking good. I did notice that there's a little bit of a burr on the countersunk part. I don't have a deburring tool, so I guess I'm off to the hardware store. Have to take the darn thing apart one more time and get rid of that little burr. Otherwise, they're flat